Hello, today I will read Exodus chapter 22. In chapter 21 we saw that God allowed or didn't fight against slavery, but he put some conditions, and the masters of the slave people, they could not do anything they wanted with them. Now let's continue with the chapter 22. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he must pay back 5 head of cattle for the ox and 4 sheep for the sheep. So if you steal something bigger, you must pay 5 times. But if you steal something normal, something medium or something smaller, you must pay just 4 times the price of the thing. If a thief is caught breaking in and is struck so that he dies, the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens and after sunrise, he is guilty of bloodshed. So here, if someone breaks into your house during the night and they had no electricity, but even if they had no electricity, and so something you're defending yourself, and somehow you're defending yourself, and maybe you killed the thief, the person who broke in. So the defender is not guilty of bloodshed. But if it happens after sunrise, he's guilty of bloodshed. If it's during the day, if it was during the day, you could see the person and you could avoid the death of that thief. A thief must certainly make restitution, but if he has nothing, he must be sold to pay for his theft. Whoa. If the stolen animal is found alive in his possession, whether ox or donkey or sheep, he must pay back double. He gives back what he stole, and he must pay back one again, or 2. Another 2 donkeys or another donkey, I don't know. He must pay back double. If a man grazes his livestock, I think another 2 donkeys. If a man grazes, or I'm not very sure, but if a man grazes his livestock in a field of vineyard and lets them stray and they graze in another man's field, he must make restitution from the best of his own field or vineyard. If a fire breaks out and spreads into thorn bushes so that it burns shocks of grain or standing grain or the whole field, the one who started the fire must make restitution. If a man gives his neighbor silver or goods for safekeeping and they are stolen from the neighbor's house, the thief, if he is caught, must pay back double. But if the thief is not found, the owner of the house must appear before the judge to determine whether he has laid his hands on the other man's property. In all cases, of illegal possession of an ox, a donkey, a sheep, a garment, or any other lost property about which somebody says, "This is mine," both parties are to bring their cases before the judge. The one whom the judge declared guilty must pay back double to his neighbor. So, in the law of Moses, there were some authorities, judges and court of law and court of justice. We will see if it will be applied or not. If a man gives a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any other animal to his neighbor for safekeeping, and it dies or is injured or is taken away while no one is looking, the issue between them will be settled by the taking of an oath before the Lord that the neighbor did not lay hands on the other person's property. The owner is to accept this and no restitution is required. But if the animal was stolen from the neighbor, he must make restitution to the owner. If it was torn to pieces by a wild animal, he shall bring in the remains as evidence, and he will not be required to pay for the torn animal. Yeah, let's continue. If a man borrows an animal from his neighbor and it is injured or dies while the owner is not present, he must make restitution. But if the owner is with the animal, the borrower will not have to pay. If the animal was hired, the money paid for the hire covers the loss. There were some different cases of justice. Let's continue. If a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleeps with her, he must pay the bride price and she shall be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he must still pay the bride price for virgins. Do not allow a sorceress to live. Anyone who has sex, I don't know why it's saying this. This verse, what connection have with the virgins? I really don't know. With the subject. Anyone who has sexual relations with an animal must be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. Do not mistreat an alien or oppress him, for you were aliens in Egypt. Do not take advantage of a widow or an orphan. With that first case, if a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleeps with her, he must pay the bride price. And she shall be his wife. Not a very nice case of marriage, but and full of resentment and lots of but still it's better than letting alone a pregnant woman and not just pregnant and on losing her virginity and it would be there was a very bad scene and she and he should die if someone if the woman was pledged to marriage, but if that woman was not, it was an obligation for the man to take the wife, but it's not a nice case. Okay, let's continue. Whoever sacrifices, do not mistreat an alien or oppress him, for you were aliens in Egypt. Do not take advantage of a widow or an orphan. If you do and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless. I remembered something from Istanbul. I don't know if it is related with this, but it wasn't like a widow woman or an old woman, and I pitied her, or I mean, I felt like she was very kind, and still in that situation she was a very poor old woman. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, even if she was poor, she tried to help me, and it was very kind, and I felt like, wow. Sometimes some people that you're not expecting to, they are kind, and they are, oh, yeah, I was like homeless there too. I couldn't be at help of that. Maybe I could help her, but I think I wanted, but she didn't accept. Okay, let's continue. And yeah, Spazio had that crying or something like, whoa, if a rich man helps you, oh, thank you, and you maybe you're happy, but if a poor man or woman or I don't know, is that kind with you and tries to and is helping you, oh, that is heartbreaking. Or I mean in a good way, not in a bad way. I mean like it's so wow. Okay, let's continue. May the God bless that woman if she's still alive, and yeah. Do not take advantage of a widow or an orphan. If you do and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. I remember at that widow, there were some man from Turkey, from Istanbul, the ones who were taking out the garbage, and they were, I don't know, maybe they took advantage of that widow. Maybe not in a very bad way, but with, I don't know, maybe with her body, or she was old, maybe, but maybe not that very, very old. And those men, I don't know, but uh, for a piece of bread or for something, it's a very, very pity and very... I really don't know. I cannot say more than I don't know, but yeah, I suspected a bit, but I really don't know. She was maybe not very clever or smart, but she was very kind, that woman, that old woman. And she tried to help me. And that was very kind of her. I had no place to sleep in Istanbul. I tried all night to find a place, and I found under a bridge there were some bashes. I didn't know, wow, what is that? And in the morning I saw that those bashes, or at that night, were like a garden with tomatoes or something. And in the morning it came that old woman with some goats and some chickens, and she found me. Before that, I think I was eating one tomato or two. I was hungry and I was very happy. Wow, I found something to eat. And I wanted to help her, but I don't know if I wanted to give her some Turkish lira. But I don't know if she accepted or not. I don't remember. I think not. And she tried to help me to buy a telephone card number, cartel, and okay, let's continue. Do not take advantage of a widow or an orphan. If you do and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with a sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not be like a money lender. Charge him no interest. If you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it to him by sunset, because his cloak is the only covering he has for his body. What else will he sleep in? When he cries out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. Yeah. So don't joke around with poor people, or because God is their protector. Orphan people, or widow, or fatherless children. Yeah, here orphan. Because God, hears their cry and He will protect them. I will hear, for I am compassionate. Do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people. Do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. You are to be my holy people. So do not eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts. Throw it to the dogs. Yeah, protection against food that are not okay. I mean, the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts is not okay to eat from that. That can be poisonous or something. The saliva of those animals, or yeah, it is not healthy. It's not okay to eat. Throw it to the dogs. Yeah, it's very interesting, but God is asking for the firstborn of their sons and of their animals too. And what God will He do with firstborn of humans? They are not just the Levites people, but to every people, the firstborn. I don't know what really happened, and if the Hebrews respected the law with all those details or not. Okay, may the God bless me, protect me, and enlighten me in the next chapter too. And if He wants, you will see me there too. God bless you all, and goodbye.